Wow, I can't believe this, but on Sunday I am heading back to Ontario, but there was still one more thing I wanted to check off of my summer bucket list, and that was head to the mountains. As a born and raised Albertan and as a young kid once, I grew up in the mountains, camping in the mountains, going to the mountains, and it's been a hot minute since your girl's been in the mountains. It's been a few years, so I was adamant on going this year. Next year, I definitely want to try and go for a hike because it's been a while since I've done a hike and they have gorgeous hikes, and I also really want to see a waterfall. But the fact that so many people come to Alberta and miss out on this is just so sad. I mean, how can you miss this? Now, from Calgary, this is a good hour and 30-minute drive, but honestly, it's not that bad. I mean, look how stunning the mountains are. So we're going to take you guys along for a afternoon in Banff with us. So let's go. Oh my god, these mountains are to die for. I am just in awe, and I am honestly wanting to squeal and just cry like happy tears right now because it's just so stunning out here. And it honestly, to me, it does not matter how many times you come out to the mountains, you're always gonna be in awe. I mean, honestly, one of my dreams one day is to get a summer house out in the mountains or even live here. But before we entered Banff, we did have to stop at the office to get a pass. You do need a pass to get in, but you do get quite a few perks as well with the passes. So we got the family pass and we got a ton of like good perks with like Rocky Mountain House, historic sites, and so much more. Honestly, they aren't as expensive as I thought. They're about $20, but I mean, it could be worse. So you do need to get one, and this just basically goes towards the perks. I first saw this avalanche sign, and that shocked me, but I think it's just because I've never seen it before. But I mean, come on. This is stunning. I am just still in shock, and I feel like the more we go near Banff and the closer we are to Banff, the prettier it gets. I mean, like, come on. Oh my god, like each mountain is just prettier by the second. It just does not matter. There's just so much greenery and forestry and wildlife that I absolutely love. Now, Banff is always busy. It is the tourist hotspot. So is Kananaskis, but Banff is like the biggest hotspot. So I will say trying to find parking is a bit harder, but I will say try to go near the train station and stuff, and you'll see a sign for free parking, and it will lead you straight into the downtown area. So you get really good parking there, it's free, but I would recommend going on a weekday because it's less wait times. The crowds won't change, but it is less wait times and stuff because people are in work and stuff. As in, if you were to go during like weekend, it would be way busier. Like, look at this, we finally entered Banff, but before we got parking, you do have to go, and I will say if you have little kids, do watch them because there's a lot of traffic, and yes, bikes here in Alberta, I don't know about any other province, have the right of way. So a lot of the times, especially in Banff, you will see big, massive buses and bikes on the roads, and the roads are very small, very narrow, like very wide, but very small. So and there's bikes just zooming by and stuff. But like, look how stunning this is. I personally wouldn't live in Banff just because of the crowds. I would prefer to live in like Kananaskis or Canmore, one of the neighboring communities. But like, just look at how stunning it is. You have the mountains right in front of you, and just like, look how historic they are. Like the buildings too. Like, look at this. That's a hotel. Like, oh my god. That to me is just gorgeous and stunning. I didn't even think about this, but yeah, that's the high school. Like, imagine the mountains right in front of you. Like, that's your backyard. It's stunning. Like, look at the houses. That is stunning. Now, I didn't mention this, and I just thought of it as we were trying to find parking, but see if you can maybe park in the underground hotel area. There's, like, hotel parking. Sometimes there's free parking there because a lot of the times people will take, like, a tour bus here because, keep in mind, they do have a lot of tour buses that go to Kananaskis and Lake Louise and all of the major hotspots, so if you do want to park your car for the day and do all of that. But yeah, personally, I wouldn't own a house in Banff. I would maybe do a neighboring community. It's just too crazy for me and too chaotic, and I would just be so scared. And yes, they have like, see, there's just a random biker in the middle of the lane, and yes, this is totally normal, so be very careful because here the drivers are crazy, and yes, you will have natural water stations just filled like in the middle of the street. Like, can we just take a minute to appreciate how stunning the architecture is and just how historic it looks? It's just something about it that fills my heart. This was another one of the hotels. I mean, look at that beauty. Now, one thing I will say when it comes to parking is I would honestly recommend having someone that is experienced there because the roundabouts can get a bit tricky, and also be careful. There's a lot of potholes and stuff. There's a lot of potholes and stuff, but I would recommend having someone experienced that knows this area well, or even having a GPS because the traffic can get crazy. You can miss your turns really easily because of traffic, and the signs are very small, and there's just so many crowds. It's so hard to see the signs in the streets and stuff, and there's buses everywhere, so it is best that you do have someone that knows what they are doing and experienced. Like, I'm not talking about someone that knows the way around Banff. Like me and my grandma, we know our way around Banff. Despite the fact I haven't been to Banff in 5 years, I still know my way around. But what I will say is have an experienced driver that really knows the way around, because it can get crazy and you do have to be cautious of wildlife. I will say during the day there's not so much wildlife out, but you never know. Last time I was here, we just were walking by the front yard and there was just a deer laying in the front yard. And be prepared to lose your patience. If you have ADHD, I would definitely bring a lot of fidgets because these drivers will test your patience, especially slow walkers. My patience may or may not have been tested a few times today, so do bring lots of fidgets. So we ended up finding parking, and I would go by the train station, lots of open spots, especially if you have a trailer. And this is right from the parking lot straight to downtown. I mean, look at the mountains, and right beside us is, yes, the school. And honestly, considering that this is a tourist town, they keep this place pretty clean. I have seen some tourist towns, or just towns in general, where they really don't care about it and they don't keep it clean. But here, they keep it clean, which I really appreciate. I know some towns are just neglected. We ended up stopping for lunch, and look at the stunning view. Like, look at this. Now, what I will say is, if you're coming during the weekend, I would book in advance. I would book reservations and all of that, just so you have a spot. But I mean, like, can we, like, look at this? It's perfect because it's not too windy, but it's not too hot, which I love. It's perfect for my epilepsy, and I'm also not a fan of the cold. But, like, this is just gorgeous. I honestly, like, I wish I had, like, a summer house here, or even, like, going camping and getting, like, just a permanent lot for the summer and stuff. I will say, if you do want to go camping here, book a year in advance, because the camping spots are crazy. And if you do want to get a good parking spot, then I would be leaving at about 5 o'clock. The only reason why I would be leaving at about 5 o'clock is to guarantee good parking spots and less lineups, so that way you can get everything that you kind of want done, especially if you have little kids, because wait times, you don't want to be waiting lines with kids. Then we stopped in at a ton of tourist stops. They had these really cool clipboards and these elastic guns, which I haven't seen since I was a kid. They also had a canoe-shaped clipboard, which I thought was really cute. I will say a good ton of the tourist shops here are the same, but I would look because prices can vary and stuff. But, like, look at this. Like, oh my god. I thought this was a cigarette, like, thing, and I couldn't figure it out because there was no, like, label on it. But when I went to the front counter, it was a cosmetic mirror. And, like, this is just, like, these are those streets, like, oh, this is what I'm talking about. Like, this is what I love. The next store we went into was this Christmas shop, and I'm a Danish person. I grew up with a granddad that was Danish, and we love Christmas. So this was the jackpot. I didn't film all the tourist stores that we went to. We went into a few gem stores, like with the gems and rocks and stuff. But yeah. And those ones were really tight, so I didn't really want to film because they were really tight and stuff. And then we went to other tourist stops. Again, they were relatively the same. Don't know how I feel about that Santa, no offense. But yeah, they had this Christmas store, and yes, I did spend a good hour in here. Like, I want a Christmas tree up all year round. Like, they had everything. And, like, gnomes and seaside collections and food, like a section dedicated to food ornaments. And this is 3 stories, so I did check out, by the way, if my boyfriend's watching this, that ring box should be our first ornament. If I was a millionaire, I would get, like, a good chunk of these ornaments in here. Like, everything in this area is covered head to toe with ornaments. Like, look at that. Like, this was just one section, like woodland. They have, like, these side sections with dishes and stuff. And they had this section, I forget what it was called, but, like, they had some gnomes, which I thought were really cute. Some of them looked a little weird and stuff, but they just had so much. So if you were a Christmas lover, then I would come in here. Like, this was half the Grinch stuff, which I knew I had to take a video for my sister because this girl loves the Grinch. But oh my god, look at this salt and pepper shaker. It comes out of his arse, and then it comes out of there. Like, those are so cute. Sadly, it's so expensive, but if I'm a millionaire one day, I'm definitely coming in here and going to be getting a shit whack of this crap because it's Christmas, and if I had it my way, it'd be up all year round. Like, and look at that TV. Like, look at that. And then they had this whole section dedicated to camping-themed ornaments, which I applaud, because I feel like going anywhere else, whether it's online or stuff, you can't find these types of ornaments. They're impossible. And I like that it's like good quality material. It's wood or it's glass and stuff, or glass mixed with plastic. It's not the stupid shitty plastic shit. And oh my god, the staircase. This is a staircase that's in one of my favorite movies, so I'm so excited to go at that. And this was the Seaside Collection, which I also really loved. And I loved that they could also double glass ones. And again, I saw the staircase and they had like it lined with bears. And yes, I did spend a good hour in here just in awe. And they had this whole Grinch set up as well down there, like, yep. And they had like a ton of trees set up and just so much. Sadly, I didn't find a duck ornament. They also had the Stitch, which I thought was gorgeous. And it just was stunning. I'm not a huge Stitch fan, but at this rate, I would get anything in here. Like, they even had Halloween Christmas decor. Like, this was Halloween decor designed as Christmas decor. Genius. And I grew up with these Christmas display sets. Like, look at it. It, like, literally wrapped around just this whole section. Like, look at the geese go. So we started off with some Halloween, and then, like, yeah, see, Halloween stuff. And then we moved on to, like, some Christmas stuff. They, like, Dairy Queen setups in here. Like, it was, like, my version of Legoland. It was freaking epic. And then we moved into more of the town setup, and it just kept on going. And then we moved into the Grinch section, which I loved. And then, and again, you can buy all of this as well, but this is mainly for setup. And it just kept on going to the Mickey stuff, to the Grinch stuff. But I did have to get a close-up for my sister. And there, it's like the top and stuff. This is the second floor. I mean, Lord have mercy, I could flip and live in here. Like another Christmas tree. At this point, I was also taking a shitwhack of pictures. And then we stopped in to see some of the food ornaments, which I also really liked. I was kind of disappointed. I wanted to get a keychain, but they didn't really have any good ones. Like, look at this. They just had food ornaments and drink ornaments. And actually, I got a beer. Like, I found a beer jar one filled with beer. And I was really scared because it's like liquid, but it's covered. So it looks like it will spill like this one. Like, see, it will look like it will spill, but, like, it won't. But I genuinely thought, oh, shit, it broke. But yeah, like food and drinks, and it's just, I love it. And then we headed downstairs, and oh my goodness, more trees. Like, look at that deer. I freaking love that deer. And then I spotted my section, the gnome section. Like, oh my god. I spent a good hour in here, and my grandma trying to get me out was bloody impossible, but I wanted to buy every bloody effing gnome in here. This was our first elf that we had, so that was nice to find it. Like, look at this, and they had, like, nutcrackers. They had this little honey one, which I wanted to get for my boyfriend, because he loves Winnie the Pooh. That's okay. And again, like, these are nice quality ornaments. I remember growing up, we always had two different types of trees in our house. We had one that was more like the traditional festive one, and then we had one that was a fun tree just dedicated to all the fun ornaments. I did end up finding a camera ornament, but I didn't get that one. I found like a traditional camera, and then like, see the vintage camera, and they had like stuff dedicated to sports, and food, and phones, and sneakers, and sports, and soccer ball, and basketball, and the toilet. I wanted to get the toilet one for my dad because he spends way too much time in there. But yeah, there's the vintage and the actual one. But I was like, which one do I want to get? And then I also saw the books. Like, oh my god, I would actually buy like one of each of these because all of these kind of resonate with me. So, like, look at this. And they even had mini ornaments, which are hard to find, especially for like the mini trees. And again, like, this is the gnome wall. Like, oh my god. And then we headed down these stairs. They had a gnome doormat, which I so badly wanted to get. And they also have some spring stuff in here, which is nice. And they had just so much. Like, They had this, like, they were like chocolate bars and milk. So that milk actually looked very realistic too, which I was like, oh my god. Gingerbread people. Like, oh my god, they have like something for everybody in here. I did end up asking if they had a duck, but they weren't sure about it, so I'm like, that's okay. Which I was kind of shocked not to see a duck. But like, it just was lined, and they had some hobbies here and other stuff. Look at this. And they had this gnome countdown, and I so badly wanted it, but I'm not a millionaire, which kind of sucks. They also had these candles, which is very traditional in Danish homes. It's like a countdown candle, so you like light it until each day. But I haven't been able to find them, so we did end up getting one for my mom. She's been wanting one for a while. They also had a whole thing dedicated to like puzzles, like all sorts of puzzles, which I also ended up taking a video for my mom because she loves puzzles. Like, look at this. It's lined to the floor with puzzles. The freaking floor is a puzzle. Like, look at this. Like, look. Bit of everything. Bit of Christmas, bit of normal stuff. Like, look. And then we headed all the way over here. And, like, oh my god. They had, like, stocking holders, baking stuff. Like, I will say I wasn't a huge fan of some of the stocking holders, but that's okay. It wasn't as fun. And they had, like, ornaments or, like, stockings and aprons and all of that, which I loved. And then this was kind of the assortment section, so they did have some dishes, which I really liked. And the Scandinavian ornaments, although they weren't really screaming too Scandinavian to me. I don't know if that's just me. And this bee wall, which I did take a video of for my neighbor, she loves bees, and more Grinch stuff and all of that. And then they had a dog section, and we actually ended up finding like 3 different Schnauzer ornaments, which I was impressed with. We found one in the ball, which you just saw, the blue ball, and one in the stocking one, which I was very shocked by because Schnauzers are not a very popular breed. Like, if to a lot of people, if you were to say like Schnauzer, they'd be like, what are you talking about? Yeah, this was the dedicated Grinch tree. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of the Grinch, but I'm in shock because like this takes time and effort. Like, honestly, can this just like forget doing psychology? Can this please just become my full-time job? I would gladly love to work in here and play some hide and go seek and stock the shelves, please. Like, pretty please. And that sign is pretty cool as well. And then we went in, well, my grandma took a break and I went to this Lululemon. I was so sad to come into this Lululemon. Like, one, there was barely any stock with so much storage space in here. And I saw another store like this, but it's like, why is it so bland? Then we went out and we got ice cream. And yes, that is McDonald's. I mean, look how stunning the streets are. And yes, quite literally, that's a McDonald's. And I even said to my grandma, like, that is by far the fanciest McDonald's I have ever seen. Also, if you guys go to Cow's Creamery, do know that there are 2 doors. And don't make the same mistake that we did. They do also have multiple beaver tails. So if you're going in groups, get one person to check out the one beaver tail, and then the other person check out the other one, so you guys can kind of figure out which line is longer. I mean, I just would love to go shopping on this street for Christmas and have Christmas in like a cottage. And I love that each house kind of looks like a cottage. Look at this. And then we ended up walking down, and I did want to go into this dog store. They also had some Schnauzer cards. We went into this store. This is where, when I came to Banff when I was younger, I actually got my very first Banff shirt in here. I gave that to my sister, though. But, like, oh my god. And then this was the dog store. I saw duck socks, which I so badly wanted to get for Louie. But that's okay. But they had a lot of Schnauzer stuff as well, which I was genuinely impressed with. A lot of hockey stuff. And then this is the main street. And, like, look at this. Like, oh my god. Like, the mountains are right in front of you, and it just feels so fresh and crisp. Like, see, people are cleaning, which I love. That they take time to take care of their streets. Not only for the people, but for the wildlife as well. And I did end up getting 2 different keychains. I got one at the ice cream place because I actually found a good, decent looking ornament or like keychain. And then I also got a duck themed ornament as well. This was the ice cream, which I was so close to finishing, but sadly I have sensitive teeth, so it takes some time. Like, this is the school, like, it's in the backyard of the mountains. Imagine coming outside every day for recess and what you see are mountains. Hello? Can I please restart elementary school? Just go to the school where there's mountains right in front. Also, another thing I'll notice is, like, say it's the mountains, is there's really no flowers in the front of people's yards because of the wildlife. And, yeah, this is why that tree, I think, is trimmed off or whatever. I don't know why it's trimmed off. But, like, last but not least, here's some pictures I took whilst I was in Banff. And look, this Christmas shop even had a countdown, which applauds to that. And this is the name of the Christmas store if you guys want to check it out. Okay, so I'm going to show you guys the Christmas ornament I got and then the keychains. So I got this one of the Schnauzer. They did have one on the ball and then a stocking, but just didn't like them. They didn't really look like a Schnauzer. They look like a mixed. So I got this one, which is so cute. I will say they are a bit pricey, but everything in Banff is pricey. Then I got this one at the Cow's Creamery. And because I love ducks, I got one with the Canadian maple leaf. Don't ask about the eyelashes. But those are the souvenirs I got.